Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Matt, and this is episode number 10 of the How Success is Made podcast. And I wanted to do a video to kind of switch things up, kind of show you guys my face, and really make more of a connection with you guys. So, wanted to show you guys what I look like, what I act like, and everything. But I wanted to share with you. I didn't get a podcast out last week. I was actually at the Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within seminar, 4-day event in San Jose. And if you ever have a chance to see Tony Robbins in person, it is life-changing. The guy changes your life. It was outstanding. And so I wanted to share with you some things that I learned at this event. And one of the things that most resonated with me was your state of mind, state of body, everything. Your state is ultimately what determines your happiness or your success. It's all about how you react in certain situations. You shouldn't be reacting. You should be already planning and expecting. But one of the things was, I do want to share with you how important that your state really is, because if you're depressed or sad or upset or angry, any of those states, that's a state, that's a negative state. So, and you can change your life by turning those negative states into a positive one. And you could do it just like that. You could change your state just like that. You see, everyone has an amazing amount of energy built up inside of them. And during certain situations, your state can change just like that. If I put you on the spot and asked you, hey, you asked a stranger, you had to tell a stranger what your sexual fantasy is. Or if you had to jump into a pool of freezing cold water. See, when you do that kind of stuff, your state changes. You immediately get a rush of energy when you jump into a cold pool of water, or you immediately get a state change of like uncomfortableness when you have to tell somebody, something, your sexual pleasures or anything, right? But my point is, most people, everyone can change their state immediately. And it's usually circumstantial, like, the cold water or sexual preference or throwing out random questions to people. But why not change your state instantly yourself? You can do it yourself. And I learned this from Tony Robbins, if you knew how to change your state at a moment's glance, like if you were feeling sad or depressed or angry, or, how much would your life change if you could just change your state just like that? There's external circumstances that can change somebody's state just like that, but there's also internal ones. And so I wanted to share with you basically just some simple ways that billionaires, millionaires, anybody successful in life can change their state immediately. So if you're feeling sad or depressed or happy, or you want to feel sad or depressed and you're happy, or you want to change your state, there's 3 things actually that can change your state that you can do. One is your physiology. You can change, how you're standing up straight, get a power stance, really feel good. You can cheer, sing, you can move your body. Just if you get in a different physiology, which is just what you do with your body, that's one thing you could do to change your state of unhappiness. Another thing you could do is change your focus. This is really important. A lot of people who are sad or depressed, they tend to focus on the wrong things. And I think I may have mentioned something like this before. It's the power of the law of attraction. In The Secret, most people get what they don't want because they're focused on it. So, for example, if you're focused on paying your bills and just having enough money to pay your bills, if I just had enough money to pay my bills, I'd be great. you're focusing on just having enough money to pay your bills. And when you focus on something like that, that's all you're going to get. So you need to raise your standards, increase your focus. If you're thinking, oh man, I'm going to catch every light when I'm, driving to this. If you're late somewhere and you're focused on, oh, I don't want to be late, I don't want to be late. Well, guess what? You're probably going to be late because the only thing you're focused on is the things that are going to make you late. Distractions, really. So changing your focus from something bad to something good, and this is billionaires. Every billionaire, every millionaire, they don't focus on in the moment like, oh, I just need to pay my bills this month. They focus on, I'm going to sell 1 billion products. I'm going to help 1 million people. They're not focused on what's going on in their life, the little things that just most people focus on. They're focused on the big picture, right? So change your focus. And the last thing you could do is change your language to change your state. So we have physiology, we have change your focus, change your physiology, and change your language. And your language is just how you say things. Most people, like if I asked you, let me ask you some questions. So if I asked you to finish these sentences, what would your language be? Rich people are, money is, time is, right? Wealth is, and based on the language, you can change your state of mind. So if you said something like money is the root of all evil, well, you'll never be rich or successful because your language is saying that money is the root of all evil. Why would money be in your life if you internally think that it's the root of all evil, right? You got to change those language patterns, right? Time is money, right? That's another terrible negative language pattern. Time is not money. That's basically limiting your money to the amount of time that you have. That's terrible. Time is precious. That's my first gut reaction. Time is precious. It's the most valuable thing we have in our lives. So one commodity that we have that once spent, we can never, ever get it back. Money circulates. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about the money. Money is the result. But anyway, to change your state of being, if you're in a negative state and you're unhappy, you can change those 3 things. Your physiology. So next time you're unhappy, it'll look something like this. Let me. So I'm depressed. My physiology, I'm just moping. I hate life. That's language. I hate life. Everything sucks, right? Nothing ever goes my way is focus. Nothing will ever work out. That's focus, right? But to change this instantaneously, you can change your state just by going a little something like this. Let's see. Life is fantastic! Oh my God, I can't believe, you'll never guess what happened to me. Something so amazing happened. Everything's going great in my life. Oh, I love life. And the people I'm helping, it's amazing. And all this money that I'm making, oh my gosh, it's incredible. All this money, I can give it away and give it to charity and oh man, this is excellent. And see, that's a state change. And there's different ways you can do this. You can do a pattern interrupt. So a pattern interrupt is if you're in a bad state of mind, you can develop a habit where you interrupt that pattern. So one for me was, a big one for me was caring what other people, see, rich people don't care what other people think, what they do, because they have a bigger mission in life, right? My mission, I'm going to change millions of people's lives. And regardless if it offends some people, I'm going to change millions of people's life. This business, this podcast, Kindle, everything, marketing, stuff like that, it offends people. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm here to contribute to change millions of people's lives. And that's the truth, right? So as long as you have that truth, you can interrupt patterns. So every time I'm thinking oh, I'm embarrassing myself. I hope that person doesn't think of me this way or whatever. I have a pattern interrupt. When I start thinking that way, I yell to myself, shut up! And it triggers in my head. And then when I stop thinking that way, you have to reward yourself. So a good way to do that is to raise your hand like this, right? But not like Hitler. I'd probably turn it this direction and lean over and pat yourself on the back and say, I'm freaking awesome. I'm awesome. And reward yourself. It's amazing how you can change your state of mind based on your physiology, the way you stand, the way you smile. Your physiology, actually smiling too, is a big physiological change. You can go from this, I feel depressed just doing this, to like smiling, right? And smiling it's the physiology. And then your focus, instead of focusing on what's wrong in your life, focus on what's right. Be grateful for what you have and be grateful for where you're going. And then your language, instead of saying I can't, ask how can I, right? So it's just a pattern shift. It's almost the same question, except one, if you ask I can't versus how can I, see, mentally, psychologically in your head, if you ask I can't, you give up right there. Right then and there, your mind stops thinking of solutions for that problem because you can't, you've already determined it. If you ask how can I, your mind then starts thinking of these crazy things you could do to do that thing that you probably want to do, to be honest. Most things that people say they can't do are things that people would love to do, right? But they just justify it to themselves and they say, I can't do that because of this, this, and this. And then ultimately it makes them feel better about themselves, And it's an easy way to get out of something that you truly want to do, but getting out of the work to do it. So state change. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with this, but it's incredibly important that you do state changes. Just like Tony Robbins, there's multiple steps. So let's say, for example, even for something small, like let's say you're going on a diet, right? And you always eat that chocolate cake. You can't pass up that chocolate cake, And so what do? Well, to develop the habit of walking past the chocolate cake, you can change your physiology, your focus, and your language to change the state of how you feel. So everything in your life is guided by either love or fear, passion or fear, either one. And most people already have the fear when they want to do something. So for example, the chocolate cake, they know they shouldn't have it. And that's kind of their fear, is they know they shouldn't have it because, they'll get fat, they won't feel good about themselves. That's the fear, right? But sometimes fear is stronger than passion, usually. But sometimes it's just not enough. So next time you pass that chocolate cake or do something that you should be doing that, you want to develop. So you're on a diet, you want to pass the chocolate cake. Don't just have the fear of like, oh, I shouldn't eat the chocolate cake, because you'll probably eat the chocolate cake. Once you pass up the chocolate cake, do some of this. I'm awesome. I just passed up chocolate cake. I'm freaking rock. And that physiology, the physiology that you do, it sounds stupid, but when you reward yourself, you don't have to have somebody else reward you for something. When you reward yourself for doing something, there's no limits. You're no longer accountable to what other people think. You're no longer accountable to the limits of other people's beliefs. Belief, the people's belief systems, that's an acronym. The acronym's BS, right? Belief systems are BS. The truth is, I would challenge you to say that 99% of your belief systems about the world, about money, about the economy, about just how things work in life are not your belief systems. You didn't develop them. Somebody else told you. right? It gets passed down, right? School systems teach you belief systems of how you're supposed to look at the world. Your parents, your friends, your family. And not to say that all of them are wrong. All I'm saying is challenge them. Which ones do you truly believe in? Which ones have you truly challenged? Belief systems, most of them are exactly that. BS, belief systems, right? So I challenge you to challenge your belief systems. Whenever you're feeling depressed, you can change your state just by changing your physiology, right? Changing your focus instead of, I can't have that chocolate cake. I can't have that chocolate cake. You're going to end up with the chocolate cake because you're freaking focused on it. Maybe focused on, think of a health food, maybe like an alternative. I love broccoli and carrots. I love broccoli and carrots, right? I love broccoli and carrots. And then when you stare at the cake, you're thinking broccoli and carrots. You're not even going to want the cake. And then when you pass the cake, reward yourself, right? So change your state just like that. Whenever you're feeling depressed, Tony Robbins has a 90-second rule. Whenever he's feeling bad or depressed, it's not that you shouldn't have those feelings. You definitely should. But don't let them stretch for hours and hours. And it's terrible for your physical body. It's terrible for your state of mind. You end up becoming like this negative person, having nothing in the world because you're not focused on the right things. You don't say the right language. You say, oh yeah, time is money. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm out of time, so I guess I can't make any more money. You know what I mean? It's like, focus on different things. So if you want to change your state, just like that, next time you feel depressed, or not just depressed, next time you have some sort of negative thought in your head, have a pattern interrupt. So like, mine is, shut up. When I start thinking like, oh man, like if I'm singing in my car and I'm like, yeah, and I'm looking over and the guy next to me is looking over at me, I don't just go like, because I don't care about what he thinks. Rich people don't care about what other people think, right? That's Tony Robbins' words, not mine. You do what you want. You're having fun. You're contributing to changing millions of people's lives. You should celebrate. You know what I mean? So when he looks over at me, I'm no longer like, now I'm like, come on, you can do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I know it sounds silly, but just do it. You can change your state just like that. When you get depressed, change your physiology, sit up straight, put a smile on. That's a big thing, smile on. Say, I freaking rock. That's language, right? And then focus on something positive, not negative, right? So change your state just like that. I'm Matt, and Tony Robbins changed my life. That thing was amazing. It was outstanding. Actually, that was the word they used. So next time you want to stop a bad habit or a bad thought creeping into your head or doing something, do shut up and then celebrate. Go, yeah, go me, yes! And pat yourself on the back, right? So anyways, I want to thank you guys again. And if you guys like this sort of stuff, feel free to leave a review. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. If you think I'm stupid, you can leave the comment. You can write the review or whatever, but rich people don't care about what other people think. Unless it's positive, because I'm here to change people's lives. And unless it changed your life, I don't care. So hopefully, if this helped you in any way, that's my mission, is to help millions of people. And you guys are on the ground floor. This is only episode number 10. I'm going to keep going with this. I'm writing books. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. But I'm here to change millions of people's lives for the better, even if it offends some people. That's my truth. What's yours? So, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video or audio. I haven't decided yet.